Hello.
Hi, I'm Teresa.
Nikki, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Have a seat. So what we're going to do today is go through some questions and answers, and then at the end I'll give you an opportunity to ask me questions if you have any after we talk.
Okay.
So the first thing is that I've read through your resume and just want to know, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I believe myself as to be very outgoing. It's not in my resume because my resume is strictly job more than personal, because that's kind of how I am, more with my job than my personal life.
Okay.
I work in retail, which is a very cutthroat kind of job, especially when you're in a mall surrounded by thousands of other stores that people could go through.
Okay.
I would say what else? There's not much to me. I mean, I'm a positive person. I like to keep my job going. I like to keep the people around my job at a positive perspective, because it can be very negative, especially when dealing with other customers that can bring negativity into the work area. Me personally, I'm creative. I love fashion. I could go on about that for days.
Okay.
I pretty much love to be just happy. I love to influence the people around me to do whatever they can to create a healthy environment for themselves and to push them. And I also encourage them to push me as well.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about why you chose LaSalle.
Well, I chose LaSalle for a completely different reason. I was headed towards journalism, and journalism was a way for me to get my thoughts out through my writing on different political and social stances. But going through that, and especially through the communication center, even though it's a great center, it focuses more, in my opinion, on mass media than it does the other two fields that it provides. And that was what I came here for, because I visited 3 times. I loved it all 3 times. Everyone here was really positive. The professors in that building are amazing. No matter what field it is, all of them are amazing. It's just there are more opportunities in the mass media field than the other two, in my personal opinion. But the campus is really great. Everyone around here is pretty positive. The faculty definitely is my favorite part. And the campus in general as well, even though it's in such a tough neighborhood, it still remains pretty clean, positive. It's not too violent around, so.
And you said you originally were interested in journalism.
Yes.
But now have switched to mass media.
I have actually switched because
PR.
Yes.
Okay.
PR, but I'm hoping, because my future goals are fashion merchandising. Public relations doesn't really match with fashion merchandising. But fashion merchandising alone doesn't particularly need a degree. However, I want one in order to get myself farther places. I do plan on transferring to Temple for fashion merchandising, because unfortunately LaSalle doesn't have that aspect, and Temple has their own distinct fashion merchandising major. So that's where I'm hoping to go towards.
So what brought you to a PR track?
I have very good people skills. I also remain unbiased in a good amount of situations, to where I believe if I did pursue public relations, I would be able to see both sides, as in the company that I'm supporting as well as the public. And I feel like I would have great means in bringing those together through positive and negative things that the company goes through.
And what was your initial interest in journalism? You mentioned you like to write about political stances.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
It's more social than political. I I believe writing is a great form of expression, and I have a lot of opinions,
Okay.
and I have a lot of stands on things, but I feel that people think that journalism is a dying trade, and I want to go into that to prove that it isn't. I would have hoped to go along the lines of newspaper writing, but more online since it is transferring online. I'm not into celebrity media. I'm more into like social causes, political causes, things that people are afraid to talk about. I like to reach those, and I like to make people think about those.
Okay. Sounds like you do a little bit of that in your personal social media, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you utilize social media.
The way I utilize social media, in my opinion, I don't like putting out too much that people don't understand on social media, especially with the political problems that have happened now and all of the political situations that people are getting into. There's a lot of things that people know, and there's a lot of things that people don't know, and I believe that you have to be fully equipped on the situation in order to publicize it, to talk about it, and in my personal opinion, I haven't read much up on that. I try to stay away from politics, even though it's very hard now, but I usually just utilize my social media for personal purposes, more of positive rather than negative, because even though all of the causes that are happening now are very positive, they are having negative reactions towards them, and I would like to remain in a positive environment as much as possible.
Okay. So if I asked you to utilize social media to promote my brand, tell me about how you would do that. How would you?
Well, depending on the age gap of the brand, what they're maintaining towards, if they're gender neutral, if they're for male or female, I would probably try to utilize the best possible either app or website that would maintain towards that age group and towards that gender.
Okay.
So say you're trying to reach a band of 18 to 26-year-olds. Twitter is one of those social media apps that people are using a lot. People love to engage in other people's lives as well as tell other people about their own. And I feel like that would be the best media platform that you would be able to get people's attention on.
Okay.
Because even with Twitter, there are 140 characters, so that limits you, but it makes people want to know more. So adding that status plus the, say, website or program that you're trying to promote, it'll make them want to click on that and read more into it.
What kind of experience do you have in public speaking?
Very limited. I did, if you want to count theater as public speaking, I've been very active in the theater programs that I've worked with. I believe I'm very good at public speaking. I can get people's attention. I can be loud. I can be clear. So in my personal opinion, I am phenomenal at public speaking. But in terms of speaking at conferences, etc., I don't have much experience.
Okay. Tell me about any experiences you might have had with development of PR materials or communication tools.
As I said before, I work in fashion retail, and I work for a plus-size clothing brand, and plus-size women do get a lot of negativity towards them, or even plus-size in general, because it's not focused positively in the media mostly. So the PR that I have experienced through that would be more public through my store and through the company in general. We have social media, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. We try to engage our customers in that as much as possible. So I believe that alone, and with that being such a tricky topic, is the best I could do to get myself involved in that.
Okay. So what role do you play now with any of that for your retail store?
Well, for now, I'm just a sales associate. I have been a management position. I stepped down from that because of school.
Okay.
But most of our, I would say most of our positivity as well as confidence is what we promote the most.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence in yourself, confidence in your image, confidence in your fashion sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I make myself look and present myself at work and talk to customers, ask them about how they are, what they want to wear, how to take them little by little out of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
That through word of mouth, because our district, our company in general,
Mm-hmm.
is pretty high ranked, and especially our store, we're a very high ranked store. So by that word of mouth alone from other customers to other customers,
Mm-hmm.
we get our regulars speak to people who've never heard of us. That just brings a whole new social interaction with new people that we've never had before.
Okay. Describe a situation for me where you communicated your ideas effectively.
With my job, there is a lot of theft,
Okay.
especially because where I work, prices are very high for reasons unknown. They should be lower, and I have communicated that,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the way that we manage our inventory. I have thoroughly communicated that as well. But going back to theft, I have talked to our district manager. I have made myself known. I've personally emailed our CEO, because the reason why theft is so large is because the prices are so large,
Mm-hmm.
and because of our staff limitations and the sensors that we put on the clothing. Some of them are efficient, some of them are not.
Mm-hmm.
So I've mentioned a good amount of these issues that we've been having and made myself known through not just my district manager, but through the CEO in general,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that in order to keep our sales up, we have to keep our customers happy, and they're not going to be happy if we're having limited amounts of clothing because of theft, and also if our prices are so high because of that.
What personality characteristics would you say are most important to be successful in public relations?
Determination, good character aspects such as good personality, friendliness, because when you're dealing with public relations, you're dealing with not just only a company, but with the public in general. So in order for the public to actually take you seriously, you have to be stern, but you also have to be well-liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that being well-liked is how you're going to reel more people into the positive aspects of a company if things do go south.
So how do you nurture those aspects of your personality?
The ones that I just mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, as I said before, I like to keep a very positive aspect.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that is very outgoing, very calm, doesn't really get herself in a lot of arguments, tries to understand everyone's perspective thoroughly,
Mm-hmm.
but I can take charge and I can be very demanding if needed.
So would you say that is your greatest strength?
Yes.
What about your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness would probably be second guessing myself.
Okay.
I am very determined to get to places where I need to be, but I also second guess myself personally, and that may or may not be a self-esteem issue. I don't have many self-esteem issues, but if I had to link one, it would most likely be that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have the ability to bring myself higher and go up that ladder to get to where I personally need to be, employment-wise, personality-wise, growth-wise, but sometimes I second guess that along the way when I'm dealing with certain situations.
Okay. So public relations in general is changing. Where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see it hitting more of the social media aspect, not just in terms of magazine or television, but more on, as I said before, apps, like Twitter, not much Facebook anymore. I see that going away. Anything that people can express themselves on, shorter and sweeter, most likely, or just in general be able to express themselves. I also see things getting more towards, I want to say, more of a debate side. So any social media platform that does come into existence in the next 5 years would most likely be straining itself more on comments.
Mm-hmm.
So people post, people comment, that becomes a whole thing where people get to express themselves and also debate on maybe more of a positive manner, I would hope.
Mm-hmm. What would you say makes you stand out from your peers?
I would say a lot of people beat around the bush anymore, especially if they're not certain where they want to go or what they want to be, and I believe that everything, even if the field isn't as cutthroat, I still believe in taking it as it is, as cutthroat, whether it is or not. And in doing that, I believe that I can stand out from the crowd just solely based on determination, also being linked with a more fun aspect as well as a more business aspect.
So you said you stepped down recently to go into a sales associate role.
Yes.
Because of school. So talk to me a little bit about how you organize yourself and how you multitask.
So I mostly believe that my work is going to get me farther than my schooling, only because of the path that I want to take more recently, aside from public relations, the fashion merchandising aspect, because I do wish to obtain a degree in that, but also the experience that I'm getting now might be far greater than the experience that I'm getting in my classes. My classes do teach me organizational skills, but they don't really teach as much people skills as being out there in the world in a job does.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to work my school around work or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that my normal day would go school, right from school to work, coming back from work and doing schoolwork, and then trying to fit in as much social activity as I can between that.
Okay. Walk me through how you get to know the use of new technology.
New technology is coming out every single day. I think that mostly my experience is through word of mouth or on social media. I am not as equipped with complete new technology every single day. Mostly it would take maybe a month or two for me to actually come in face to face with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do try it out. I like new experiences in general, so I take that as a new experience. I work my way around it. I ask questions from people who have used it already, and it's not that hard to come across or that hard to maintain once I get the hang of it.
Tell me about a time when you took a leadership role.
A leadership role would mostly be during my work. We have holiday, which takes place from November past to January 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, I took up a management position. It's a key holder position. I would open the store. I would do all of the paperwork, count money, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I would be alone until 2 o'clock, where I would have to take initiative to do everything that was not done in the previous night,
Mm-hmm.
as well as things such as shipment that we would get throughout the day.
Okay.
During that time, I would have associates with me. I don't believe in just work. That's not how I run. I believe that you have to know your employees personally as well as on a business level. So throughout the day, when I would get a new associate, we would have just regular conversations, because if it's a Tuesday in a mall at 2:00, there is nobody there. So I believe that the personal aspect that you have and the relationship that you have with your coworkers can help you achieve the role of management as well as help them achieve their role as associate.
So you spoke to me a little bit about that downtime. Talk to me about how you're gaining experience merchandising.
Merchandising presently?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a lot of merchandising for me, or the merchandising that I want to do is a lot about knowing fabrics, knowing what's trending, what's not. It's about everything is changing every single day fashion-wise. So when in fashion retail, and being in there for so long, I've been in there almost 4.5 years. It's a lot of people skills that you're gaining that you can work with clients or work with clients in your own company, as well as getting to know those fabrics, getting to know what people are buying, what people are not, and what people are satisfied with and what people aren't. I've worked in both plus size and petite clothing. I've worked with high-end clothing. I've worked with just regular department store clothing. So through all 4 of those aspects, I know what certain demographics are looking for, what certain people are looking for in terms of style, what's in previously, and what's coming back in now.
So how do you get to know that?
Through our shipment, we do receive a lot of shipment. I also have experience through the social media that we use, as well as other social media in general. I would say magazines, any fashion type magazine, any fashion type website, they are keeping trending. Take Ralph Lauren, for example. They're always up on the new trends, and our store, every part of fashion copies off of one another, which is might be shady in some aspects, but it's how that specific trend gets around in all different demographics, all age groups, all sizes. So through seeing what other companies are portraying and then us getting that clothing in, and as well as finding out markets of, oh, these shirts did not sell, those are going straight to clearance, the whole rack of them clearance, those are not selling, but this jacket that we just got in 2 days ago is gone. That's a way that you can tell what's selling, what isn't, and especially the same thing goes for any other store too. They have the same problems of what's selling and what isn't.
Is there anything else you'd like me to know about you?
I'm very strong-hearted. I'm very passionate about where I'm trying to be, what I'm doing currently. I think that I'm going to achieve great things, not in a conceited manner, but as in, if I believe anything else, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's about it.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do not think so.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.